Now the first thing you want to know in the way of the play is you have to begin to understand yourself. This is the first tee of the day. Haven't hit a driver in a while. Played last 2 weeks ago, so I don't know where the ball will go with a longer club. I know to reach that bunker down there, I can hit a 3-iron, and I'm not going to reach that. I got space on the left. I'm happy with that. If I hit a high stress club like a driver, I'm going to be very concerned. I'm going to slice it or hook it, and I start the day off really bad. So I take. Now, in the way of the play, you need to know your carry distances. So, of course, you need to go work that stuff out at the range or over time on the golf course or with a GPS watch. By knowing your carry distance, you can now create shots that allow you easier shots into the greens. And then when you work out the distance to the pin or hazards, you can fly them or land them in the right place. Now we may, because we haven't played in a while, we may miss a green. We may not hit a great shot. We may hit a great shot. We take all of them in our stride and we just adapt for the next one. So that's pretty bad. Okay, so that was a pretty bad shot. Of course we want to get up and down as often as possible, but we probably haven't practiced that much. So we have to take our higher percentage shot. Nothing fancy, get it on the green, leave a putt. That's good enough. We've got ourselves a putt and we'll adapt our strength as we go. We'll use the opening hole just to get a feel for the pace. A little bit slower, not too bad. We'll take that and go. So we just get the pace on the first green. Most of the time we don't really know what the pace is going to be. Practice greens are different to the real green. Just use the first 2 or 3 greens. Get a 2-putt. We took a bogey there after a bad second. So what? We're going to have 17 more opportunities to make great scores. Easy life. Now, a lot of people may think the way of the player, because it's been around a while, is anti-driver. It's not anti-driver. The main point being hit shots that are comfortable, that go the longest possible, the most reliably in play at any given moment. Not like what you would expect to hit all the time, but on the day exactly what's working. Today, this is a 3-shot par 5, so I'm not even going to bother with the driver with this tight driving hole. I'm just going to hit a 4-iron. I'm not anti-driver. If the driver works for you, use the driver, 100%. For me, that's just a 4-iron. For you, it could be a 3-wood, a driver, and if you're really low confidence, it could even be a 7-iron. The reason I say people will think it's anti-driver is because often I'll tell people, get the driver and a 60-degree out the bag first, because they're often the clubs that hurt your game. Be honest about yourself. Are you losing balls with a driver? Are you chunking with your 60-degree? Top and bottom of the bag normally hurt people the most. So we're in play on a par 5. Now we have a layup. Important part of the par 5 play, as the designer created it, is to leave you tricky layups or reward shots. This is not such a tricky layup. I shoot to that tree, we've got 220 down there, and we've got 350 to the pin. If I can get a ball out there 200 yards, I'm going to leave myself 150 in. So we're going to take a reliable club, my 6-iron, one of my favorites. It can go 200 if I hit it real good, but it might go 180, and I'll leave myself a pretty long approach in, which is fine. It's 500 and something yards, easy game. But it's better in the way of the player to have a plan, and one of those plans is planning back from the hole. Course designers, Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, these are all people who will tell you to plan back from the hole. These are the greatest of the great. Tom Doak, a great course architect, read his book. I'll put it up on the screen. That's going to help you to understand how a designer and architect creates a course for multiple levels of golf. It can really help your thinking. Now we have a plan. I thought I'd leave like 150 in, but we left 120 by mistake, maybe a miscalculation. But without a plan and just willy-nilly hitting fairway woods, we've got water right, water left, we have chances of drop shots. This course has a lot of water. Keep the ball in play, fewer lost balls, lower scores. Okay, Cook, stop. Now in the way of the player, chipping is very important. Of course, it's new greens and they're a little bit slow from the rain, But what you want to do is start to get a feel for the turf on your practice strokes. This is the easiest way. You don't have to worry too much technique, but because of the way the balls, the club's interacting with the turf, I'm just going to feel that and do that with my shot. There's no real technique, it's more like an art. Just pick a spot and try land it on there. See, so we use the information from the prior hole to gauge the spot, because I would have normally pitched it here with like a pitching wedge, but they wouldn't have reached there because it's got an uphill dome here. You want to read the slopes, you want to see that if you pitch it there it's going to die, know the speed of the green, adapt your landing spot depending on that. Now it's key to remember in the way of the player. Some holes you're just going to have to submit to and take the bogey, play for the bogey. Often playing for the bogey can surprise you and give you a lovely par. Now for this hole, it's about 400 yards long. I'm just going to hit the 3-iron again. And if I have a 200-yard shot into the green, let's try to get it to the front edge, chip and putt for a par. If we take the bogues, we take the bogues. Oh, fuck, man. We've got 210 yards. We got lucky we hit a tree. We're going to ride that luck now. We've got pretty easy approach here. The bunkers there are well short of the green. So we're going to take the 6-iron from 210. We know it's not going to exactly reach the pin unless we hit some monster shot. But we know our carry distance. I'm probably going to carry like 190, 195 if I strike it solid. It's going to leave us a nice chip up the green. The best chip here is short, straight up the green. So you want to identify where the best place is to miss, because we're going to miss most of the greens. So you want to miss in the correct place. This one we're going to miss short. Okay, a little bit short left, and that's money. Now in the way of the player, you want to become supreme at reading lies. Reading the lie of the ball in the grass is going to be 100% biggest scoring reducer you can make as you get better into the 80s, 70s. The ball's above my feet. It's very spongy grass. The ball's sitting on top of it, so if I take a 60, I have a chance of going underneath it. I need a bit more bounce, so I'm taking the 56 degree, turning the face a bit, and I'm going to try loft it up and land it about halfway between the fringe and the pin. I don't take the 60 because there's lower bounce or less sole, and it might skim underneath and make me fluff it. Because the goal here is to just get it on the green. Because once you're on the green, you can have a putt. Leaving a putt is the key. See, it's very soft. I could have probably gone even more aggressive. Pushing it, pushing it. I got to be wary of that. We're getting used to it. I should probably switch back to my thicker grip putter, which I think I'll do. I'm just trying it out. I use that on the links. Always seems to work better on links, like kind of fescue, bent grass. Now we're on Bermuda grass. I find the thicker grip helps me a lot more. Don't know why, but that's part of it. Know how you play, know your tendencies, and play to them. Play to them. Don't think they're wrong. Don't think your instincts are wrong. They're right. Don't get brainwashed into trying to go against your natural game. Play your game, your scores come down. Pick the correct tee boxes for the day, for your purpose, for how you're playing. I'm not going to hit a lot of drivers today because I'm not playing the black tees. So I decided to play the blue tees at 6,600 yards. There's water everywhere. I don't like losing golf balls. I don't like taking drops at the water. I like keeping the ball in play. So I'm playing a bit shorter tee. If I were to say nothing more than a 7-iron, I'd go play the white tees and still have a good time. So pick the correct tees. You don't have to play championship 7,000 yard tips all the time. What you should be aiming for, and most people should be aiming for, is between 6,000 and 6,500 yards maximum. Broken the tee. This game gets very expensive when you break tees. And teeth it.
Lucky bounce onto the
And that's what happens when you talk during a shot. You just teeth it, it skips over the water, it skips on the water, rolled up, and now we have a putt for the birdie. But you get the idea. Man, that's really weak, huh? You can see over here we have a bunker right in front of us and a bunker at the back. The pin's at 130. We've got to just make sure we clear that bunker at 120, and then we can go all the way back to like 145. So you want to get a club that's guaranteed with a mediocre strike, going to carry the hazard, and then with a good strike not reach the other hazard. And that's a pitching wedge from 130. I know I'm going to carry that bunker. I've got a lot of confidence in that. Okay.
Good job, bro.
Now on the tee box, you're also in the way of the player. You want to be thinking about what are you hitting toward, what are you hitting away from. I sometimes have a bit of a pull, and that side on the left is not great for a pull shot. You're ball done. I want to hit more toward the wide open part of the fairway. So I'm coming to the left side of the tee box, swinging out that way, instead of the right side of the tee box, swinging toward the trouble. See, so that shape over there is perfect for that line, but if I hit that from that side of the tee, I'm in the water. Now, one of the common things people will talk about is that you're going to screw up a lot of shots, so you may as well hit the ball as long as possible if you're going to screw it up. The trouble is that with long clubs, when you screw them up, you top them, so they're going 20 yards. When you screw up like a 4-iron or a 6-iron, it's still getting 80 yards out of the shot. It's still getting 100 yards out of the shot. Don't succumb too much to this talk about long all the time. Like in this moment, I've got 326 yards. I can hit a 220 to the edge of that water. Do I want to hit a 220 yard shot? No. What if it gets a good bounce, goes in the water? I want to hit a 6-iron. 6-iron maximum on this shot will carry 200 yards and stop dead. Now, do I want to hit it as close as possible? Not really. I want to set myself up that, like I said, work back from the hole. I want to leave a wedge of some sort in. Pitching 48, 56. I really like those approach shots. So I'm going to hit a 6-iron here and hopefully leave a 48 degree. That's how I plan around the course, and I play over 2 handicap. So, you know, take from that what you will. We're not pros. We're not trying to play the pro game. We're trying to play our game, setting up our favorite stress-free shots. And this is how I do it. From the hole backwards, from the tee, if there's no plan to hit an approach shot, in play as long as possible, as reliably as possible, without a hazard and without going OB. Wow, I kind of found a swing here, huh?
Looks good, man.
So we've left ourselves 120 yards, which is exactly, well, 123, which is exactly my 48 degree. I'm very happy with that. Would I prefer a 50-yard shot? Not really. I kind of like this shot. And of course, we are going to miss greens. I mean, the pros miss, what, probably 2 or 3 out of 10 greens from 125. We're going to miss the greens, but as long as we're missing the green in the right place, we really minimize the damage. Way of the player is mainly about minimizing damage. We've hit 2 good shots in play here. We have not succumbed to any damage. This one is our penultimate shot in our minds because we want a birdie. But if we're anywhere near the green to leave a chip and a putt, the right side is a bit short-sided. The left side has a lot more space to chip on, and short is also an easy chip. So I think a little left of the pin here gives me a lot of room for error. And that way we can give ourselves a great chance at a par, maybe even a birdie.
Nice.
Exactly where I aimed it, and that's what I'm talking about. Capitalize on what you can do, hit the great shots. I like a 4-iron, I like a 6-iron, I like a 48 degree, and look at that, it just works out. The more comfortable and confident you are in the way of the player, the better you play according to your game, your shots. 100%, there's nothing else. You have to know yourself, play the golf course, don't let it play you. Well, it was a great putt, just that I didn't read the grain over here, which means the grain grows that way, and as the putt dies, it's going to move left. Okay, players, you've got to know your game. Key is knowing your game. Know yourself. Everybody can do this. Break 100, break 90, break 80, break par. Obviously, as your skills get better, you have to adapt your game plan. As you hit the ball longer, more confidentially, you want to change your game plan and begin hitting better shots, more difficult shots, shots that you practice, shots that you can pull off. But you have to know yourself. So on this one, we've got 171 yards, playing 167. For me, it's a hard 9-iron. Yeah, it sounds like a lot, but I do pull it a little bit when I go hard at it. So that adds an extra few yards because I de-loft and pull it lower spin. Know your shape, know your distance, know your carry, know your clubs, know your shape with each club. That way you can adapt your strategy as you go. Now, okay, so it didn't come back. It was middle of the green, and that was kind of the plan. We had a main plan and then the contingency plan. So the main plan was a pull shot toward the hole. The contingency plan was a straight shot, not much shape on it. It shaped a little bit, and now we have a putt for the bird's key. But now with putting, way of the player. Remember, slopes are key. This is a down slope. A lot of people will get confused and they won't see the slope or won't take into account and hit at the same strength as a flat putt. That's going to go 7 foot, 8 foot, 10 foot past. Then what happens? They don't take into account now it's uphill, so they leave it a foot or two short. Putting is very key. Distance control. Distance control comes from the strength you hit the ball with the impact of the slope. The downhill slope, softer. Uphill slope, hit it harder. We just need to get this ball to die near the hole, past the hole, to the side of the hole. Remember, you don't want two putts in the same direction. See, so what I mean right there is I took into account it's downhill, so I hit it a little softer and I left myself a 1-footer. We don't want to be over here and then leave ourselves an 8-footer, 7-footer, 10-footer and leave it short over here. We want to do that on the first putt. I'm teeing up on this side, not on the left side, because the left side is a draw slope tee, making the ball draw toward the water. So I'm just going to stick it up on the right side where it's flat on the tee box. And remember, you can use the tee box for different shot shapes. So if the ball like here is slightly below my feet, I may get a little fader. And if the ball is above my feet, I might get a little draw ski off the tee. I'm trying to get as flat as possible. And I'm going to hit this toward the third bunker down there. And to eliminate the water out of my mind, we focus on something we can't hit. The top of that palm tree at 320 yards away, I can't hit with a 3-iron. So I'm going to focus on that palm tree, take all the minefields out of my mind in front of me. I'm not thinking about anything bad, just try to land it in that bunker on top of that tree. And it just makes it so stress-free because I'm not looking at the water, I'm not looking at bad stuff, I'm looking only at the thing I can't reach, like a game, like a video game where you're trying to jump on something you can't reach. So I'm going to hit this at the pin with a little baby fader, and once you get more experience and you hit more shots, you can control the distance you hit your clubs, and that's why clubs can be different distances. So this will be 169 or even 155. Let's see what comes out here with a fader. Okay, a little bit short. And it's like in that in-between range, 163. Do I hit the hard 9? Do I hit the soft 8? But you can manipulate the distance you hit your ball, so don't always expect the same distance with the same club. It can depend on the lie, primarily. 80% on the lie, 20% on the wind factors and the hardness of the ground. So I would get very good at reading the lies. Notice what happens when you hit a ball, what happens to it on that lie. A lot of grass behind the ball, dry, sandy, fairway, down grain, fairway, into the grain, all kind of things like that. And you'll start to see how much distance you lose or gain depending on the lie. Stop! Wow, that's real slow. Now remember players, I'm not an anomaly. I'm not some amazing golfer. I miss a lot of fairways, I miss a lot of greens. But the most important part is to just take the shots that you can hit, your arsenal on the day. Everyone has like 5 shots, 5 clubs, a few shots they know how to hit. Something's going to get you in play. And the key is to remember to get in play, get it near the green in an easily chippable position or on the green for putting. And you want to get in the hole in as few as possible. Doesn't matter what club you're using, as long as that club works. Doesn't matter if you hit 7-iron from 120. You don't have to try hit the 8 and show everyone that you got more power. Hit the 7. Don't play the ego club, play the club that works. Removing the ego from the game is the #1 way to score lower. You can manage your way around the course, chipping and putting. I miss a lot of fairways, I miss a lot of greens. We chip, we putt, we walk away with a 79, 82, 75. You never know what's going to come. Okay, we've got 124, but we're on a big side slope, so this ball is a couple inches above my feet. Going to have a propensity to go left. So remember, we have to count the slopes as the most important thing in the lie, plus how the ball is lying. This is in the fairway, obviously it's a great lie. What I'm going to do is try to set this up just a little right of the pin, because what actually happens is there's a lot of green left. So the pin's on the right, but if we go right of the pin, we have a chance of missing it on the right side and having a tough chip. But if we go just right of the pin, like a yard, we might tug it a little bit and leave ourselves like a 15-20 footer left, or it might stay straight and just stay right of the pin like a yard. But we don't want to go right edge of the green in case it stays straight and then we have a tough chip much. Okay, we're on the front edge and that's good enough. It was a bit of a non-committal swing, but we're putting and Caddy's going to go get our beaver trail. Bloody bastard.
Beautiful.
You got to smash it, bro.